Alright, both ready to go. This first round matchup between Twisted Fate and Arctic Melons. Map 1.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries.
Hello.
What's up, Revolver? How you doing, my man?
Not much. Took a break after our game and going to help commentate and then do some comp.
Hell, nice, dude. Nice. Oh, goodness. Are we gonna be hit with the fat memes from Twisted Fate? Question. Let's see what they have in store for us today. Looks like Twisted Fate is just gonna kind of run a 2-2-2 Bastion here. Looks like Arctic Melons. I want to say it's goats, but I mean it looks like triple tank with just mini mac on the Torbjorn. No, it is goats. Never mind. It's like another goats comp for this point A. See what they're gonna. Fire strike back. Turtle here. They're gonna go ahead and just escort themselves to point.
Yeah, this is really smart with goats. You kind of want to be whole team together and just take the fight.
Yeah. Coming from one of the strongest teams in terms of goats powering themselves.
Now the Bastion and Junkrat is going to give them a little bit of a problem if they aren't careful, but it looks like they're getting the picks. Yeah, because that's the thing, is goats can be really overpowered, but you got to think about it. Because the Bastion and the Junkrat are a huge problem, but if you take the rest of the team out, you don't really run into a problem too much with them.
Yeah, and the problem is with kind of an anti-goats counter, you run generally lower mobility and compensation for aim and accuracy. Whereas goats is kind of like, it's just high accuracy. And it looks like Minimac is going to go on the flank here and hit this Junkrat. And it looks like Minimac is in kind of a tough spot. Now we're going to go ahead and
nice
set up
shatter.
Beautiful shatter. Looks like he's just, Minimac's just going to poke and prod at the Bastion here and try to make something happen here. He's going to go ahead and set up his minefield on point. Zarya's going to be very low in this. He's going to be careful. Coalescence comes out on the side of Twisted Fate here, but does pick off Minimac here. Looks like it's going to be a solid hold.
Now that they have the chance to set up, it's going to make goats a little bit more difficult to deal with. Or to get started, because you're going to have that Bastion who's going to be in position with ult, as well as Junkrat with ult as well.
Exactly. Kind of just denial, just zoning of the Bastion, as well as just the potential raw damage power coming in from Junkrat. It looks like actually Arctic is going to be going up on the flank top right and trying to be able to get rid of this Bastion here. Try to be able to do what he can. It looks like Twisted Fate does have grab though. They're gonna.
I don't know. Oh, they do get rid of the Bastion. I was gonna say I wasn't
shatter.
sure.
That's a 4K shatter coming in from Turtle here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that wanted them to use their ults here or try to force Twisted to pop theirs. But so far it looks like it's working.
I feel like with goats also, it's like a kind of a mind game thing. It's like you wanna be able to try to bait out ultimates and on top of that, cycle how much ultimates you have. Because right now there's another grab on board here with the minefield. I actually like that combo. I would want to see that combo kind of implemented more into this league. It looks like just Arctic Melons is just pushing, clearing house here. And by the looks of it, it's gonna be a clean first. Ooh, a little bit of contesting here from here on the Reaper here. Lucio's just camping the spawns, but he gets
Kira,
pushed right off.
Kira got stepped off and couldn't get back on.
Mm-hmm. Strong presence coming in from Earth today. And the goats. They kept the aggro and they kept the momentum. They kept pushing forward. And that's eventually what happens when you just.
And that's the thing that's important about goats is you really have to have your team coordinated.
Mm-hmm.
One person goes off too far, the whole thing falls apart.
Yep. It's like a stack of dominoes. The moment one domino goes down, everything else goes down with it. Ooh. What does this look like? Barrier disruption, maybe?
Now, I do like, if Twisted is going with what I think, I do like this method. I have a feeling if they stay on Sim, set a teleporter off to the left and come up behind, at least take the Bastion behind them. I also like if you could get through the choke, putting a teleporter through the actual choke and setting up, but all depends on how sneaky you want to be.
Attackers incoming.
Well, generally speaking, the comp that Twisted has right now is kind of a lower mobility, which kind of Symmetra will complement pretty well with the teleporter itself, and try to be able to set up on the top. And normally speaking, if you can get Bastion set up and keep him protected, there's nothing really going to stop him. But I also like what Pfizer is doing on the Symmetra. If they're gonna also play the Symmetra like dedicated, they're gonna try to disrupt kind of just the general vibe of this thing going on here.
I do like what Minimac's doing is staying up there. I like to peek up there as Diva as well. Because now you know, oh, they're teleporting behind us.
He's got information here. Yep, he's got information.
Just push two.
Beautiful two-piece. Looks like Minimac is well on his way with over 3/4 of his ultimate already, not even within the first minute.
Only thing I may have adjusted was, I don't know if that teleporter's still up. I'd have taken that teleporter down first.
I believe he did.
Okay.
I believe he did, or it was already on cooldown, but it looks like...
No, but it did help them out, because they took out the Diva.
But I love the way they kind of played the more defensive option here with their setup that they were doing just then. And it was, they teleported and they set up. And they were making, so they already assumed that, hey, they had information on hand.
Yeah, once the two of them went flying, you kind of know, okay, they know where we're at.
Yeah, and I actually like that. Instead of aggroing off the picks, they kind of played a little more defensive here. And because of the stagger and the spawn advantage, they're going to probably just go ahead and push this with how much they have, but they got to be careful, as Arctic Melon does have 2 of their guys coming back too. So, the Diva Bomb is already active for Minimac here, but in counter, Kira also has his tank farm. It looks like, as expected, beautiful bomb placement.
Yep. Unfortunately, Kira was already dead, but...
Good 3K shatter on Dominator's end here. Looks like a solid defense here for Arctic here. And they're going to go ahead and rally and fortify everybody's health up right now before this next fight starts. They're going to have the Coalescence, they already have the Molten Core, and they have the EMP. Excuse me. They have the EMP. They've got to lock down. They've got to lock down Missus right now. Because if Missus can get off with that Valkyrie, we don't know what the end of that is. That's all I'm gonna say. So, but Kira's gonna drop the Bastion to actually go Lucio.
Looks like they're going up top too.
Yeah, they switched off to go triple support. Gonna have the need.
Now EMP's gonna be sick. Oh, she got stunned. Danny got stunned trying to EMP.
And that negates the EMP entirely. Ooh, and no
Ravenous
shatter.
loses shatter.
They do have the grab though for Twisted, but so much of the effect is full supports, but it looks like Nip will break one out of there. But 50 seconds, about 45 seconds left. They've got to make something. They've got to make something work.
The only thing they may have is Lucio's ult on the side of Twisted.
Yeah,
I just don't know if they're gonna. I just don't think they're gonna have the ult economy to really pull it off.
Not necessarily because
they still got to build it in order to use it.
Yep. But on the side of Arctic here, they're gonna have that Shatter Diva Bomb, and then if Danny can place shots relatively well, he's already 20% to ult. So one good EMP can shut down this entire fight. If Kira beat drops at the wrong time, yeah, nobody's contesting him either. If Kira beat drops here, and Danny more than likely, if he plays the game is where I think it will. Yep. Ooh, Mini with the 6K Diva Bomb to seal point. Wow. Arctic Melons will take first point in a grand fashion.
Let's see that Diva Bomb. We know it. That's the play. Let's see it.
Right. We don't even gotta call it. We don't even have to debate. Probably the cleanest Diva Bomb I've seen, probably in all of just the league. Ooh, beautiful Shatter. Beautiful Shatter into the EMP to kind of just stop everything from happening. The Shatter was perfect. Had 6 down. The EMP
everything just
fell right into place. It fell right into place, and that was a well-timed and actually a very synchronized combo there. Because that was their win condition, but the win condition on the same side of the coin for Twisted was the beat drop. But it looks like Minimax is gonna throw a 6K flawless Diva Bomb to seal this point. King's Row is gonna be the next map here. Any subs coming in and out between both parties? Let's see. Bruh. Limo. Fair enough. Map 2, King's Row. Very good Hanzo Zarya Ryan map, but also a very good Goats map. You got any predictions here?
Goats is what I love to. We love, obviously, if you watched our game today, Goats is what we ran a lot, just because it's really difficult to put a good counter on it. Unless, obviously you saw Twisted kind of counter it for a little bit, but it's very difficult to sustain a counter if you just commit to it and everyone's coordinated.
Yep. You got any prediction on who's winning this map? From what you've seen just now, if you have any predictions?
Well, I like Bizer's Zarya, and I think that's going to help them immensely. This is a good Reaper map. If it goes past second point, whatever team can... I don't think one team is going to get it to second point. I think one team's going to run it the entire way, one team's going to get it to second. Now, if that happens to be Arctic gets it past second point on the first try, they're my pick. First team to get it past, getting the payload and moving it past the first point. Because I think Street Phase is going to determine who wins.
Now entering King's Row.
I think both teams are going to be able to cap the point, but I think it's whoever's going to get out of Street Phase alive is going to be the team that wins this. And I do like Kira playing the Mei. I do love Mei on this map. Soldier's a good pick as well.
I believe Kira's picking Mei on the condition that they're the opposite. Or Arctic's gonna be running goats. But just considering what it looks like from here is, it might be goats after all. I'll be darned.
Well, they've got the Torb, so... Yeah, I don't think they're running goats. Unless, of course, they switch.
Yep. They're gonna go ahead and run. It looks like, unless they're memeing us right now, it looks like they're gonna be running the pharmacy with the Widow. Kind of mid to long range combat. It's actually the one thing that Twisted's gonna have a disadvantage on is kind of range. I mean, if GT can go ahead and hit the shots he needs to hit, then
nice ice wall. Yep, so it allows them to take out Dominator without the rest of the team being able to interfere. The res does come in though. I like what Kira's doing.
Be careful as well. There we go.
Yeah, I like what Kira was doing there, standing up next to the wall, waiting for some of the team to pop in, and then just freeze off one or two players from the rest of the team.
So the dragon's gonna come out for Minimac here.
Does get crit. This crit. Minimac
it's
is
actually
back up.
A very, very essential pick here for Arctic Melons. If they're gonna capitalize on this opportunity, they've got to do it now. It looks like they're gonna go ahead and do that. Late staggers is actually from what it looks like, they're gonna go ahead and spawn with them, but it's gonna be kind of iffy here. All I know is that Misses and GT has to be careful if they're going to. Yeah, it looks like they do spawn in with the rest of them, so they will be set up on the corner here. Ooh.
I don't necessarily know how I like about Dominator being the one on the cart. Because you're the shield tank. The whole point is to kind of have a shield for the rest of your team.
Yeah.
I'd almost much rather have Visor or maybe even McCree stand back.
The barrage is going to come out. Multiple ultimates have been more or less used, actually. The Graviton, the Barrage, and the
Arctic
Shatter.
Seems like they got the better of it.
I wouldn't have used the Shatter. The Shatter could have been used a little more effectively, like within the next team fight or so, but I do like that ult combo with the Zarya and the Barrage. Very well done.
Yeah, I like what they're doing now, having the Zarya carry the payload.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you can use the Dominator to have the shield up for the rest of the team. Visor does get a pick.
Question is just going to capitalize. But it looks like they step off the payload just a little too far, and they're going to go ahead and cap second point here.
And now Visor's just giving the ult charge. Not much he can really do about it.
It looks like Zenyatta's just by himself in the back line here. Gets a pick onto Danny, however. But it looks like it's just going to be a bad stagger for him. He does get one in response, though. Actually, I would be willing to take that trade just because of spawn advantage. It looks like here they're gonna.
Danny switched to a Doomfist.
Just to be able to not get countered by the double hit again here. Like the Valkyrie is gonna come out.
Nice kill by Visor. Danny gets Martian.
Res. It's kind of a high risk res just because they're in the back line there. But actually a good res nonetheless. Good shatter. Shuts down the ooh, and that gets 4 in the shatter with the grab as well. Now that is just gonna tear through the entire line of Twisted here. It's going to be a very bad dagger there, and it looks like Arctic is just gonna seal this point.
They got through the street phase fairly well, so I think my prediction is, unless Twisted changes something, they're gonna have a really hard time getting through that.
Yeah.
Getting through street phase.
Street, just generally speaking, if you don't have the momentum, you're not gonna get past it. It's kind of like it actually more or less is kind of an aggro and momentum based kind of map or section of the map, just because there's so CQC in the amount of like length that you have to get from first to second point. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. Unless Twisted changes something in their lineup or changes something in general that they're doing, they're not going to get beyond street.
I mean, especially if they're running Goats. Goats is really effective in the street phase, but they are running the Mei and Torb. So that is a problem as well with people getting frozen in the turret. So street phase, I have a feeling it would be a lot harder if they ran Goats on the side of Arctic, but I do like the pick of Ravenous on Hanzo and Visor on Zarya. They have a lot of combo ability with Zarya kind of working with Tracer and Hanzo there. And even with Moira. Yeah, I've been playing Moira a lot lately. Nothing more fun than if you get to see a big grab. You have Coalescence when your whole team charges the grab to wipe them out and just taking everyone out.
And then just Zarya is just all around a good tank for every composition, just because of the protection that she can provide for the entire team. I mean,
yep, you just have, as a team, you got to make sure you keep that up, keep your two tanks up out of this, because they're both very needed requirements here.
Yep. And it looks like they're just going to get set up on the high ground here and actually go around. Go around here on the bottom of Hotel. I mean, of course, they're expecting it, but
there isn't going to be much they can do if they can get the high ground.
Yep, and if they have to, it looks like they're playing the mind game where they've got to charge on the point here. Actually, a bad pick on the side of Twisted here, as they do get healers. Actually, both healers down with the Wombo combo.
He's turning around, he's getting hit by Mini-Mac.
Yeah, but it looks like the team fight is lost already. Well, tactical crouching on the side of Danny here, establishing his dominance. But, you know, we know that never go into history. Are you back with us, Sam?
Now, I'd almost be willing to switch off maybe the Hanzo for maybe a Pharah. Other than
Not necessarily, because if that Torb is positioned in the if the turret is positioned in the right place, it can.
Oh,
Ooh,
fat
good
shatter.
shatter though from Kira, but a counter shatter is just gonna come in, and dominate her.
But it looks like Twisted is getting the picks.
They're playing a numbers game right now, and they've. Ooh,
And,
but it looks like
as I say that,
Arctic. Arctic is gonna go ahead and just reject what you just said.
and then they're turning it back.
Kind of a back and forth kind of thing. But the ice is gonna go ahead and come out on the side of Arctic here. And good ult usage, but to no effect. Trying the area denial, but it doesn't cover most of that point here. It just covers the good chunk of it. They're gonna go ahead and seal it with a $1:30 on the clock left here. Looks like Danny went ahead and actually switched off. I don't remember what DPS he was playing, but he switched off to go Doomfist here. It's actually Doomfist is
May. It was May to Doomfist.
Was it? Yes, it was actually. Thank you. Looks like yep. They're just taking pot shots early. They're gonna have to play this momentum game, but they need to be careful. One false step and this entire Twisted Fate roster can go down in a single bang. Looks like a good 3K grab on the side of Arctic, and doing all he can to stay alive, but it looks like they're just gonna go ahead and turn a point.
I was gonna say, if I was Twisted, I'd get out now. You don't want to feed them any more ults.
Yep. But Twisted does have that wombo combo there for you.
Grav and Dragons. And they also will have Shatter fairly quickly as well. Looks like Dominator going to try to go for a cheeky Shatter. Nope.
I can see it. Oh, and that guy actually gets 4 in the 3 in the grab and almost 4. Good too, but they need to play the numbers game. They have numbers right now. That's almost a good stick on the Valkyrie Mercy here.
And they had Dominator who went in a little too far.
Ooh, and a 4K shatter for Twisted here. But it looks like just Arctic Melons is playing very smart in terms of defense. You know, they're giving them a little more space to work with, and once they have kind of an equal kind of aspect, they're gonna go ahead and push this back and kind of counter. I love the way Arctic is playing right now. He's kind of playing a very defense-oriented comp, but when they aggro, they aggro.
Ravenous is popping off. Minimac used the grab, but it didn't really. It got him, but it didn't really amount to much. Ravenous kind of saving the fight for Twisted there.
Yep.
Let's get you back out there.
Looks like Minimac doing all he can. Oh, well done, actually. 2 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock here. Looks like Kira's gonna go find Danny, trying to get a good size of slam here. Ooh, good stick. Keeping their life supply very low, but it looks like Moira's just gonna go ahead and clean that up right quick. Ooh, and it looks like
I think they could have timed the grab with Dragon Strike. I think they popped grab a little too soon on the side of Twisted.
Not just that though, but if they would have held that pulse bomb a little while longer, they could have had 2 of their healers down. They would have been able to make a push here. But
now Minimax looking like he's gonna go for a cheeky grab.
yeah, they might do Space Jam, knowing that Hanzo doesn't have his ult yet.
Oh, but Kira just came out of nowhere.
Ooh, and that grab is NA, unfortunately. Like they've got coalescence on both sides of the board, and with Valkyrie getting ready to be on both sides of the board as well. Good
Nice
shatter, negating that.
Shatter.
And a counter shatter here, and the dragons are going to come out as well here. kind of just I love how dragons can be used for more than just lethality. Like, I love the utility for it. It can just deny the zone. Kept people off that and kept people off the cart here for a while. Beautiful dragon right on the point. Ooh, Tom with the two-piece right here. One with the dragon with Plant, one with the Tracer.
Nice shatter. Nice fire strike to follow up to take out Miss Crit.
That's actually a very good stagger. They've got 1 minute left here. Win condition more than likely is going to be that grab and the pulse bomb, but they've got to be careful. They're not going to be killing everything, as they do kind of have a beefier lineup here.
I'd say grab and actually use pulse bomb, but use coalescence.
Use coalescence as well. Yep. Just push a little more damage in. Good minefield there. Minefield's gonna go ahead and keep you a little more preoccupied.
Yeah, they do actually have dragons as well.
Yep. And that dragon is only gonna get one, but it gets one healer. That's the one thing that Eliza has to be careful with. She's gonna try to go ahead and play that res. Actually, looks like she's gonna play normally here.
Dominator is coming back with a shatter. Looks like he's going behind.
Overtime. 3K shatter for Kira here. Shuts down the coalescence, denying any sort of... But a counter shatter from Dominator, getting 3 as well. Looks like Dominator just chipping away at everybody, trying to do what he can, but it looks like Twisted might actually take this into overtime. All they've got to do is play numbers. And Eliza will get the res, but Visor will take him down, however. And it's just the defensive this disadvantage here as each person dies, the timer stacks higher and higher. But it looks like Twisted's gonna go ahead and seal the 3rd point here. Now, do you have a prediction there, Ocelot?
I don't know. That last little push kind of really impressed me. Yeah, because I didn't doubt either team could run it. I just figured one team would have a lot more difficulty on street phase.
Yeah,
honestly,
Twisted had that little more of a struggle there, though. But I mean, they made it happen. They made it work somehow. And that's kind of just what I love about top tier teams in this league, is just the determination.
But now what's interesting is it's all about the defense. Because we could potentially draw this out. Arctic has 356 just to get a tick. Yep.
It looks like Twisted's gonna have to come up big here. Play a value game here. But Arctic is gonna put up one heck of a fight here, as they're gonna be running double snipers with the wombo combo. And it actually looks like Twisted's gonna run the Orisa Hog with a Reaper, trying to more or less just to finish targets off. Ravenous is just going to go ahead and sit on that.
Discords as well to help with that.
Yep, and Ravenous is going to be sitting on that McCree, just doing McCree things. And I love how I love how his High Noon can pretty much deny coverage. And since, you know, they're going to be running...
Arctic does switch off double snipers, Danny going on to the Pharah. Yep.
No, Twisted's gonna have to be careful, as Kira does get attention, and he calls out Hotel here, but it looks like he's gonna be extremely low here. He does come out on the side of the speed. Very strong pick for Arctic here. Looks like Kira's doing all he can to try to make something happen. Misses does get the ocular res though, but it looks like Tom is just gonna go ahead and melt him again. And it looks like they're just. It looks like, yep. Doing all they can, but to no effect, as it will be 2-0 Arctic Melons. They will take Kings Row. Well done to both teams. I applaud both of you guys for being able to push 3rd point in such grand fashions. Well done.
Yeah, both teams gave it their all.
It's nice to be appreciated.
Now we're going to Nepal, which I love these King of the Hill maps. They're probably my favorite subset of maps. So it's going to be interesting to see. Just based on hero pools, I've got to give Arctic an advantage, but out of what we've seen, I think this is the biggest shot Twisted has to come up with a win here.
Yep.
I'm thinking of just what I've seen Kira on the Reaper, seeing, a Zarya, Hog, that sort of thing is going to be really helpful on Nepal.
Question is, who's going to get the nastiest boops? What's the question?
I honestly would be surprised if there is a Lucio.
They do have a Lucio. It's Alec Nip on Arctic. He's a Masters Lucio player.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't see Twisted running one. I see Kira on a Reaper, Visor on a... I see him running Zarya, Rhine, Hog, maybe a Moira, Reaper, and Mercy. The Moira is the one that kind of fluctuates to what I see them playing. Visor going on Zen. Well, that just shot my theory.
Oh, goodness. I'll have to look at that later. I have to go put my stuff in the other thing later. In the free agency tab because I've entered the draft. Unlucky.
So they do have 3 supports. Is Twisted gonna run Goats? A version of Goats?
It's probably going to be Dotes.
It looks like there is a version of Goats on Arctic side as well. More of a dive.
Yeah, that's actually Dotes right there.
Get behind me!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
I'm number one. I'm number one.
Arctic going straight to point, whereas Twisted has the high ground.
It's going to be a little bit of a struggle here for Twisted. They've got to keep them kind of away from each other and spread them out a little bit.
Kira did a
Kind
good
of
job with
harder.
that with the ice wall, but I don't know.
Yeah, but the constant damage that Dominator's putting in with that ground slam can stack up a lot more quicker than you realize. And it looks like to me that Twisted might have to back down here. They've got pretty much most of their ults in what they can do here, but Visor does get a pick off the Danny. Like they've got the grab already.
They are getting some
Inside of
picks.
Twisted. Yep. Oh, and Ravenous with a beautiful shot under the baby diva.
I will rebuild you.
It looks like they're gonna run that formal goats comp here. They've got 4 ults on the side of Arctic, but they do got a diva bomb for Twisted. 1 diva bomb can seal the deal, as shown by Minimac earlier in map 1. I think they're gonna go ahead and initiate their dive here. Coalescence comes out, the diva bomb comes out, the charge comes out as well. But Danny is gonna get Ravenous, and the counter diva bomb's gonna go in. It gets 2 actually, as a matter of fact. The Dominator's gonna get 2 pieces of his own. Doing all he can to try to be able to get, and then make that a 3K, but Kira's going to go ahead and get the tire onto Dominator. But it looks like it's just going to be an Arctic. Arctic's going to go ahead and take this point back.
Yeah, now it's all kind of even, alts and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Twisted going back to the high ground.
They've got mid-range to work with here, and they've got the Hanzo as well. It's kind of a smarter idea to go up on the high ground, especially if they're running a goats comp like that. But it looks like they actually dropped goats to go triple support. Yeah, but with Danny sitting on the brig, kind of playing more like a DPS here. Looks like Twisted Fate's gonna have 25 seconds to be able to push this point here. But Ravenous has got to be careful. He does have dragons here. He's gonna go ahead and push it right on the point, but nothing to that effect. Beat drops gonna come out, saving a couple members of Melons here. Both rallies coming out. I apologize. As Kira gets a 3K with the tire, they definitely have numbers.
Probably just saved the round.
That definitely did. It looks like Minimac doing all he can to try to be able to stall out time. They've got the Grav Diva Bomb. If they're going to be able to use that Grav Diva Bomb effectively, they've got to get rid of that shield. Looks like Coalescence is going to come out as well as the Shatter, getting 1. Looks like it's just going to be a Arctic Melon team right now. It looks like it's going to go to the side of Arctic Melon series. Overtime does tick down. It looks like nobody's there quick enough to get it. Oh, I apologize, I lied. Sand is going to go ahead and try to delay as much time as he can. Kira hops on as well. Looks like that will be Arctic Melons.
Score 0-1.
You see Danny going to the far.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Kira going to Reaper.
He's expecting goats.
Oh, Danny switching back to Doomfist.
Triple tank. Haven't seen that since season 3. Ah, the nostalgia brings me back. Ooh, and this has to be careful here. But it looks like Danny gets pinned by Visor, but has enough health to be able to survive. It actually looks like Twisted's point here, but I don't know if they can stop this poorly guy, Minimac here. Minimac getting as much ult as he can before he goes down.
Say this one you can't really predict because now it's back in favor of Arctic.
Yep. And Mini already almost getting ready to have his ultimate here at 83%, same as Nip at 88.
It'd be wise to stay out of my sight. I've sighted the enemy.
How well Mini can play on his tanks. He can flex onto the tanks and play so consistently, just shown playing Diva and Winston and Hammond as well. Looks like Gender's going to pick off a healer early here. As Ravenous is going to go ahead and use his ult to try to deny zoning, but he doesn't. Oh, he does get one there.
Arctic coming up behind, and they're trading back and forth. Who's going to get the most out of it? Looks like Ravenous is going to do a switch off of Hanzo. Going into a Pharah, I like that idea. There isn't much that can hit him other than maybe Diva, if he's low.
Diva and Mini, or Diva and Hammond as well. Yep, and Moira. Good. I like the minefield in there, just denying the entire area there. They can't make the push. Twisted is going to go ahead and use that Death Blossom, and I don't know why. Looks like Danny's able to escape, but misses. Will get the res on Kira. We've got about 30 seconds to work with this. Kira does get on point. The Shatter comes out. Gets 3, but the counter Shatter's going to come out as well and keep him down for a little while. Looks like they're going to not realize...
Are they going to sneaky cap? Nope.
Almost. Almost. Looks like they've got 10 seconds here for Arctic to make something happen. If Twisted can stall this point just a little bit longer, they've got the Diva Bomb and they've got the Valkyrie here. But it looks like it will go to Arctic Melons 3-0 on Nepal. Arctic Melons coming up pretty big in this game.
Play of the game.
We see Kira here is Junkrat.
It was 3K tire that saved them. Ooh, excuse me. And I also like what that tire can do. That tire can actually just display information for you and your team. I like how he kind of used it more as an information gatherer and then got the kills. Because he kind of just said, oh, well, there's about 4 or 5 people there on point. And we're going to go ahead and see if there's any matches.
Looks like they're saying good game.
Yeah, I think that's it for... Yep, Twisted's gone. That's it.
So, who is your pick for Arctic's MVP?
Oh, that's tough. The entire team played extremely well. I'm gonna I want to give it to Minimac, not just because of not just because that 6K bomb, even though it is the best play of the entire season, probably of all time. Last time I checked, but
Because they did really good at flexing rolls.
Right. But just generally speaking, his tank play was very consistent. He was able to flex onto different tanks and play consistently. He didn't pop off, because you don't really want to pop off flexing. You want to be consistent. You want to be able to make the picks, and you know, if you get 2 or 3 kills, there you go. But I did like how Mini was playing his tanks. He played aggro when he needed it, and he backed down when he needed to. And I appreciate that for all things.
Minimac for MVP.
Minimac's gonna get MVP for me.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Minimac.
Alright, that will do it for this week's playoffs. Next week, it's round 2.